There you go.
Yeah.
So, hello to whoever's going to watch this. This is Yana and Christina having a nice chat about life.
About life and energy.
And energy. Yeah. Tell me what you do, because when I looked at your your Facebook page, I straight away thought of frequency healing and Nikola Tesla.
Yes.
But you said that you don't resonate with Nikola Tesla, which is fair enough.
Yes.
And I know that frequency does different sort of hertz does make a difference.
Different levels.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me, energy resonates at the different levels, but I don't see it as hertz or anything. I just see the energy scale. If you go into many things to do with energy healing, energy therapies, you will find that they work on a level of 7, right, which is like chakras, and I sort of do the same thing, and I work on people's bodies and I see the different colours. Oh. And the darker the colour, like the bottom of the rainbow, when you go down to indigo and violet,
yeah,
I see those as the darker, deeper colours, and that's the lower harmonics of the energy. And you go right up to the red, which is right at the top, you know. But it's actually turning it upside down. We actually start at the reds, right? Completely different to most people. So the reds are the darkest, and you go up to purples, because when you go to chakras, you go up to violet, and then you go up to higher, and you go up to white light. That's the way I see it. So I'm a bit different than everybody else. I'm just weird. I've always been weird.
Look, I recently read a quote somewhere: being normal is so boring. Stay weird.
Oh yes. And my energy life and my awareness actually started happening when I was 2. Some of my talks are called "Blame It on the Wasp." At 2, I had anaphylactic shock. I died, and they brought me back. And from then, I can remember coming round in the doctor's surgery, and it was an old-fashioned building, and you know they have the big arches, Georgian sort of alcoves.
Yes.
And I can remember laying on the bed, and I was only knee-high to a grasshopper, and I could see the shelving and books and brass instruments. And from then, I've almost got perfect memory callback. I can remember things right back to then, and I'm always being told off that my memory is phenomenal.
Because usually, as far as I know, kids don't remember anything before the age of 3.
Yeah, well,
that's what we were told.
Yes, yeah, no, but you see, some people can actually go back and you can go into pre-birth. So that mine came from 2, and it's been quite interesting, because I used to have, like most people have, imaginary friends, but mine seemed to be different than everybody else's. What happened was I could see, hear, know things that other people didn't know. And I was an only child, and I wondered why all these other people couldn't see what I could see, didn't know what I could know. It was awful, really, because I used to be called a cheat at school. Because I just knew the answers. I didn't have to do any studying. I hated homework. I could always find something better to do than homework. So that's what happened. And my knowing, it scares people sometimes when I say something.
Yes, knowledge for people who don't know or are afraid to find the truth.
That's
Can be
it.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. No, there was an old television program on called Alias Smith and Jones, and this was in the 60s. No internet. All your information came from magazines and newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about two cowboys, and the little dark-haired one was very troubled in his personal life, and he took his own life. And quite a time before that, people used to say, "Oh, I wonder if he's got a middle name," and things like that. And I just turned around one day and said, "Oh, it's Elstrom." And they said, "You're lying. Where would you get that from?" And of course, when he died, it all came out what his middle name was, and people started walking back from me from then.
Oh no.
Yes, and that's how it is, because I find, I know things, and it's helped me in my work. For a long time, I hid everything that I knew because people called me strange
Yeah.
and weird and everything.
It's the social pressure,
yes.
kind of, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yes, at times social pressure, big problems with weight and things like that.
And I assume back then, 60s, 70s was even more difficult than it is now.
Yes. Yeah. Life actually seemed a little bit easier back then than it is now, especially with we had COVID, which I'm not talking about. But
thank you.
Yes, I'm not talking about it. But there's lots of things that sort of happened in then that there were good bits and bad bits. But I had to put my knowledge away.
That is very sad.
Yes.
Because knowledge is power.
Yes. But at that time it wasn't, and also because you're a girl.
Oh yeah.
You see, I had the big thing with that because my mother hated me from the time I was born because I was a girl. She wanted a boy. In the 50s when I was born, boys were valued, girls weren't. So I went through that for a long time. Up until two weeks before she died, she was always telling people that she'd never wanted a daughter.
Oh, no.
Or she'd never wanted to go. And you don't realise how much that actually can mess with your head. And she was also very controlling, very odd at times. She became very, very ill, and I was a carer. And I was ill at the time because I have multiple sclerosis. But it actually doesn't feel like it's mine, so I sort of push it away. Since I've been doing energy work, it has improved, which has been a marvellous thing. And that's what I like doing now. My job is helping other people. It's been from the earliest. I've always helped people when I can.
How long have you been doing energy work? Is that is it correct to call it energy work?
I would say it's energy work because I work with the energy of the body and the universe. We are all like a big matrix. Every cell of our body is joined to every other cell in every other person's body and into the trees and everything else, because everything is energy. So we connect like that to everybody. So even when I was little, I was always helping people. When I got divorced, the biggest traumatic event, I'd been going to sort of spiritual things. I was pulled towards going to sort of spiritual church and things. But when I moved from Oxfordshire to Kent, my life changed. It took me 2 years down there, and then I went to psychic development. Within 2 weeks, I was channeling these symbols of Reiki. And that was about March, April time. I took my first Reiki class in in the beginning of July. By the end of October, I was a Reiki master because I went through anything just like I just got the power in my hands. Then I had some wonderful friends. We used to go and explore other spiritual things, working with crystals. And from then on, my powers seem to improve because my knowing comes in, and that's all mixed in with everything I do. I've studied I think I've studied 90% of all the energy therapies that are out there, and I cherry pick from them. If something attracts me, I take a little bit of that on and I add it into my toolbox. In 2012, I found I was doing EFT, you know, the tapping.
Yeah.
And went to a class, and I kept hearing these words: how does it get any better than this? And what else is possible? Some people had been to a class of a modality called Access Consciousness. It piqued my interest. I studied it, took my first class in August 2012, which was rather an exciting event. I was led on the table to have what they call your bars run. We've got all these bars on our head that connect across, and you can feel them move. And what happened then, I was having mine run, was led on the table. I had this energy, I could feel the energy force coming out like a big vortex, coming out just like the tornado looking out on the top. And it exploded. And it wasn't just me that heard the explosion, everybody else in the room and the next room heard. And the clock fell 6 feet into the room. Yes, it was in a Victorian house with sash windows which wouldn't open, and the energy exploded it and it came into the room.
Wow.
And then I knew I'd found something special. So now I use a lot of the access tools in what I do, but I am not an accessory. I do not live, breathe, and do that to access consciousness. I use the tools, they're wonderful, but I mix them in with everything else that I've learned, and also with my knowing. I have a wonderful team up there who I talk to. It's very strange how I got in touch with them, because I was never sure of myself. I hadn't got confidence, and I kept having like this waves crashing in my ears. I even went to the doctor and thought it was tinnitus, but it wasn't. Finally, I started listening and I heard something like a voice, and after that it all started. And very rarely do I have waves crashing, but on the other hand, a couple of days ago I had them crashing because they were trying to get hold of me and I wasn't listening. I was doing something else.
Right.
Yeah. So I actually enjoy working with my team up there because they give me so much information. That allows me to expand people out, which is great fun. And so that is my ethos, to give more people space, and then that will allow us to clear the blockages of what you have in your body. And it can be quite interesting. So that's what I do. I also do a couple of free Zooms a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 in the evening. Expanding people out and sorting out a few blockages. It just happened. I was told last year to start it, so it's now in its. It will be a year on the 1st of December when I first did that. And then now all this silliness has gone. I have gone back in. Well, yes, you know the silliness.
Yeah.
I have gone back into doing my access stuff. I train people how to do the bars. Well, actually, it's not train them, it's empowering them. Because everybody knows everything in this universe. But I just give them the key to unlock that little bit of knowing. And that's what I love doing, just unlocking the key.
Yeah, that's very good, because people, we have been so dumbed down
Yes.
that we don't realize how powerful beings we are, humans.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You know, if you tell someone from across the road that, you know, you channeling
Yes.
the universe, they'll be like, oh, that woman has lost her mind. Well, the thing is, they've lost their mind because they have a. But the other thing is, we have allowed this to happen.
Yes. Yeah. But I am finding now that things are opening up.
Yes.
People are looking for the difference, which I find rather exciting. It's, you know, when you can make a difference by doing something that you don't give anybody any, you give them medicine or anything. All I do is work with energy. And I love what I do. I love releasing bodies. As I said, I've gone back to doing the hands-on stuff now, but I've always done it since I was fairly young. And I've had a few really exciting changes. A few years back, one of my great friends has multiple sclerosis. It was quite funny, in our year at school, there was, I think it was about 100 or so, and we've got 6 people that have MS in that year, which is a rather high percentage. But he was paralysed from the neck down. I took a friend with me because we'd actually found out where he was. He'd been put into a care home, and we went there and sat him in the garden. He couldn't literally move from the neck downwards. Very little neck movement. An hour and a half later, he was doing this with his hands. It's all documented. He ended up writing. I actually got his feet moving, but I'm afraid he's now no longer with us. The big C, COVID.
Right.
He died with that. Then another person the other week, I was at a fair and she was walking around on crutches in a lot of pain. She'd broken her knee. The kneecap had mended, but she was in a lot of pain. She walked around, when she'd been with me, ended up walking around the hall without crutches, walking out the room, walking out to her car in crutches. She's now only uses one crutch for support, but she has changed so much with working with me to do what I do, you know.
This is
That's
incredible.
just physical things. Then you have people, you know, tied up with got business problems and things.
Yeah. There is a lot of stress in our everyday life.
Yes.
We are not. We always rush. You know.
Yes.
To get up, to go to work, to check your social media, to send an email. You go to work, you get stressed out with your boss. You have a deadline. Then you come home, the wife, the husband.
That's it.
You know, something. There's always something, and we never take a step back to actually reevaluate if all this rush is worth doing.
It's worth it. Yes, it's funny. I now seem to be now getting referrals from other people that I've worked with.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, because I do something. My basic program's called Unlocking Your Possible, and that is quite fun because you can do a mini session, which is what I'm going to take you through in a few minutes, and then we do then we do 1, 3, or 5 sessions after that. And the first one's called the Explorer. The second set, which is 3 sessions, is called the Alps, because we're going up and down a few mountains. And the third one, which is 5 sessions, goes to Everest. That means we take them, we reconnect their bodies and their heads, because some people live in their heads, others live in their bodies, and we just reconnect everything. So that can be fun, the changes that you see with people that are so stressed at the beginning. When they come down from Everest, they just say, I don't know what you've done, but everybody has said that I've changed. Some of them have physical changes, a lot of them have mental changes. Most of that is just out on the internet, like talking like we are.
Yeah.
But I just love doing it. I love, and I've worked with people all over the world. I've got somebody that's on a retainer that I worked with a year ago in the States. I've got people on retainers here that come back after they finish those. They come in for perhaps 1 session a month. Some do 2 sessions a month. Some actually do a weekly session, carrying on because they felt so much benefit of where we're going. And then they know if they've got a problem, they can come to me, which is nice. I enjoy what I do.
This is very good. Yeah. I was gonna ask, so do you need to see the person face to face?
Not sometimes not. A lot of things I can pick up with writing. I had a client that is way up in the Amazon.
Oh, wow.
Yes. No, we were talking in a group, and it was a WhatsApp group, and I just picked up something and I sent a personal message. And I picked up exactly what was wrong, and we ended up doing we couldn't talk because the internet was so bad, so we used to do it by typing. But it cleared what was going on. You know, people all over the world, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, Northern Europe, Southern Europe, people in the Far East. It's just fun because the internet has given me a playground.
Yeah. If you use the internet for the right reasons, it can be quite good.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and I just love what I do, and most of that is just talk therapy. But I do distance healing occasionally. Not that often, but usually if I'm doing something like that, I'd actually like to watch, like I'd be watching you. I'm doing this. So, are you ready to be a guinea pig?
Yes, but first, I want to ask something. So you mentioned earlier about that lady with the crutch, and before that about a gentleman, if I'm not wrong. So you said that one of these cases was documented?
Yes, the one it's documented on my Facebook page.
Right. Is this something that you do regular? Because I think it's very important to write a case study, I think it's the term.
Yes, I have sort of done as a case study, but the thing is, I sent it to various people like doctors and to the MS Society, and they wouldn't take any notice of it at all because I don't have letters behind my name.
I know you're not. I hate when someone says, "Are you a doctor? Are you a scientist?"
No,
I don't have to be any of this to know
what I'm doing. Yes, to know what I'm doing. But when you've got you will find there's a little video there of showing this guy writing the first time in 15 years that he'd written his name. I took him in a whiteboard and some big pens, and he did it, and it's on there. And that is what believing. A lot of it's self-belief. We buy into other people's stories.
Yeah.
Especially people like a doctor or anything, you believe them.
Yeah, I know. And they use fear as well to manipulate us a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you can remove that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear is the biggest block ever, in my opinion.
Yeah. But can I just tell you something?
Yes, of course.
Fear, a lot of the time, it's your body getting excited.
Oh, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yes, if it's like that you've been told you want to do something exciting, say go on a Ferris wheel or go on a roller coaster,
Mm.
and you have that excitement and this fear. But it's actually not fear, it's your body getting excited. It wants to do something.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say 90% of what fear is. Your body's excited because it wants to change something.
Yeah.
And that is amazing. When you look at life like that and you think, okay, I'm scared of that. And you think, actually, I'm not. I actually want to do something. A year or so ago, I wouldn't have done a talk with you like this.
No, me neither.
Because of the fear.
Yeah, yeah.
But then when you sit and look at fear and you pull it out, the strands out, and you think, okay, that's not fear, that's excitement.
Yeah.
I'm excited, I want to do something.
Yeah.
And so that is what I do. I now look at fear like that. So all things that happen can happen in all sorts of ways. And that's what I actually enjoy doing. I enjoy taking the fear and giving people their self-belief back.
Yeah. And also remembering that we can self-heal.
Yes. Yeah.
That's another thing that has been taken away from us mentally.
Yes. But if you're a healer, I sometimes question that, because sometimes you need help from others to get to that point. You know, I have mentors myself. I work with other healers because it is a nutrient for my body. Because sometimes you go into try and heal yourself and you go into this spiral and you can't get out of it. It's just that you say, help, you know, this isn't going, this isn't going, this isn't going. Well, if you just talk to somebody who is a healer, you can get the difference, which is quite, once you accept that, it's a really good place to be.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my view on the healing and on self-healing. And a lot of it's because I say self-belief.
Yeah.
And the judgments that others have put on us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say 98% of our body is built on judgment. Yeah, which is, you know, other people's judgments.
Yeah.
Or we buy into something. And that is so upsetting, really.
Yeah.
That, you know, when I was brought up in the 60s and you've got Twiggy and you've got the very thin models. Well, my ancestry is Northern European, Latvian. My father was Latvian. So they've got a different shape because they, you know, with broader shoulders and of course, with being Twiggy, I was teased for it. It was awful because I was just different. I actually look back at it, it was quite a learning curve on that. But
you're not different, you're unique.
Yes, we're all unique.
Yeah.
But we were supposed to try and fit in, you were trying to be put in that little box.
Yes.
And do everything and, oh, no, thank you. Not anymore.
No, I think you're doing a fantastic job with your work.
Thank you. Yes, I enjoy it. I just enjoy.
When you do something that you enjoy, it's not work, is it? It's passion.
It's passion.
Yeah.
That's what people say. They can see by me when I talk about what I do. I just want to jump out and hug people and you know, just make them feel better.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things on my website people have written. I don't know what the F she does, but it works. Yes. Yeah.
That's one hell of a review.
Yeah, and that is actually from the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. It's actually 5 years ago today that I actually met him for the first time, my first ever networking meeting. And I was showing people what I do. I sort of got a party trick that I do at fairs and things, so people can feel the energy by just putting my hands on their head and manipulate their shoulders and ask them a couple of questions. And he did it, and he's a big Salford lad. And he did, and you always see him, his old thing, he got his arms folded. And he said, I'm a skeptic, I don't believe in things like that. 2 minutes later, he did, because he stepped back, did a step back, stood with his arms folded, he said, what the have you just done to me? And I have a quote that was done sometimes. He said, I'm not actually quite sure that whether it was the day that you put your hands on me. He said, but my life took off. His business took off.
Wow.
So I'm trying to get that one down in writing. I've got it recorded, but I really want to do an interview with him to get it.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. Yeah,
yes.
People to see. Yeah, people to see what happened.
Yeah, and people just don't know how I do what I do, and it fascinates them because they try to pick it, to pieces.
Well, it is fascinating what you do, and that shows what human nature has always been like. When they see something that they haven't seen before, they're trying to figure it out, like desperately trying to figure it out, instead of just surrender.
Yes, the pure skeptic.
Yeah. People need to step away from their ego from time to time.
Yes. That's it. And then, of course, then you get the competition. I don't do competition.
No, me neither. No.
Yeah. Yeah. As I say, there's enough for everybody to go around.
Absolutely. There is abundance for
abundance of everything.
Yeah.
And just call it in. And it seems like it does does come in. So I'm just looking forward to the next few months.
Yeah, me too.
I restarted my business at the beginning of September.
Okay.
Yeah, because I couldn't do my hands on and stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm loving it. It really is good. So, yes, so now are you going to go on a little journey with me?
Okay, tell me what I need to do.
Just sit there and do it. Yeah, okay. So I work with bubbles.
Okay.
May seem weird, but when I work with children, I make them do that. The energy. Yeah. And they do that, and you can pull your hands apart and you can feel the energy between. And the children used to call it, oh, that feels like bubbles bursting. So that's the thing that I use. And I'm going to take you on a journey. Right. So the first thing I'd like you to do is take a nice breath, please.
Take a
nice deep breath, please. Okay. That's it. Now, the next thing I'd like you to do is fill your body up with bubbles, please.
So do that.
No, not like that. Just imagine your body.
Just imagine. Okay.
And then you explode them all. And all inside you, there's a big pile of rubbish. But where all the bubbles are burst and they've made some, made the thick space on the outside of your body, brought all the rubbish in. And then on 4, I'm going to explode them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The next thing we do is fill that beautiful room of yours with bubbles. And explode those, please. And all the rubbish that seems to fall down from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you fill your house with bubbles. And you explode those too. And you've got a big pile of rubbish. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go outside your house, into the garden, into the roads close to it, and we fill that area with bubbles, and we explode them all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there's the town, the village or city you're in. You fill that with bubbles, and you explode those too. All the rubbish, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the county that you're living in. You fill that with bubbles and explode them all. 1, 2, 3, 4. All that rubbish is gone. Then we fill England with bubbles. Explode all that with bubbles. Explode those. And rubbish pile. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gone. We add the rest of the UK in. So we fill that with bubbles and we explode them all. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4. That was interesting. I'm actually watching the energy of your body move outwards. I can actually watch it on the screen. So now we're going to fill Europe with bubbles. All the problems they've got, we put beautiful bubbles and explode them. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've all gone. The Northern Hemisphere now. So we fill all that with bubbles. Let's put some extra bubbles on Mr. Biden, Mr. Putin, and all the Japanese and everybody else. So we fill that with bubbles and explode them. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Southern Hemisphere now. So we fill that with bubbles. And we explode those too. Let's put a few extra there on Australia. They are having a tough time. Fill that with bubbles. Explode them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go to the whole of the world together. We just cup it at the top and bottom. We're right in the middle then. And we can spread ourselves out in rings going all the way through the layers of Earth, the magma. Then we burst through the Earth's crust. We go into the atmosphere, up through the atmosphere. And I'm not going to sing Mary Poppins, let's go fly a kite up into the atmosphere. We go past that to the stratosphere and ionosphere. That whole bit we fill up with bubbles and explode them all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we do leap of faith number 1. We're going for a trip around our solar system. I am a wise woman, or in other words, witch. So I go around on my broomstick. Just had to buy a new one. The Brussels bristles had gone a bit manky. So, right, so we go on my broomstick, or you go however you like. Flying. A friend of mine is in love with unicorns, and she rides her unicorn around the solar system. So, right, so we go. I go backwards because I go back past Venus, past Mercury, and then go round the back of the sun. And what I do then is go up, shoot out the other way because that velocity is sent me there. Go past Mars, the asteroid belt with all the little green men, Jupiter, Saturn, right out past these middle planets and out towards the edge of the solar system. Past all those new planets they keep finding, which I always think of as the chocolate Rice Krispie cakes that we made when we were little. So we're right up there. So we've got that whole area filled with those beautiful bubbles. And then we explode them all. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so from then we go out through our galaxy. So you can fill it however it's like. Some people use chocolate bubbles because our galaxy is the Milky Way and its galaxy. So chocolate bubbles, fine. Everybody to their own. But then I'm also told that when they've made all the bubbles go away, there's a lot of chocolate around, so they can lick it all up and gather it and have a party. So we fill that all with bubbles. And we explode them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is the big leap of faith. Right. I want you to go out onto the edge of your universe. I want you to stand right on the edge of it. And as I say, I work with colours. And so most people I work with, if they look across it, they can see a colour. Can you see a colour?
Yeah, it's a bright color.
Yeah.
White, yellow.
Right, yeah, I know what you mean. Right, okay. Now, we're going to do some fun now. We're going to clear our universe a little bit. And I always found it was a hard job to explain what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make a 3-layer cake. We are going to make it. Right. So we're going to fill the universe up with bubbles and explode them, but we don't get rid of them because it makes the bottom spongy layer. Then we bring the first layer of filling in. And that is, I want you to gather up all your problems, bring them in close, put them down in front of you. Mine always looked like a rows of soldiers. And so you put them there, they stand up. And I do the Queen, and I go along and do like it's a parade. And I go along and say, thank you very much. You can shake a couple of hands. You've been extremely good, extremely helpful. Okay, and some of you have been a pain in the butt, but you know, they've been there. So but now it's your time that we've got to go. So, as mine are soldiers. Now, behind them is a huge hot air balloon with a big basket. So my soldiers go off and they climb up the steps and go into the hot air balloon. I have people that have wind-up penguins, or somebody always has the Dawn Patrol from the Jungle Book, the elephants going along. Okay, everybody to their own. So they all go into that basket. And so what we're going to do is we're going to check to make sure there's nothing that's holding it down. And we're going to cut the cords and throw up the anchors. And it's going to go into the air. And we're sort of stood there waving goodbye. But little do they know that behind it, our back, we pull out a howitzer or a gun, a big gun that's going to explode that. And then we set it off, we blow up that hot air balloon. And all those problems go spinning out of control like the fireworks on New Year's Eve. No atom or molecule of one problem will touch a problem, that same problem. It will be all over that universe. Wide, wide, wide. Okay, so then the next thing we do is we pick up the next layer. So we fill the universe with bubbles again and explode them. And we've got the middle layer, nice and spongy. Top layer is my favourite. This is where you bring in all the bastards and bitches that have caused you problems. You bring them all in close to you. And we stick them in these individual balloons, these helium balloons that we send off that go up high. I'm wicked. I put them in there, but I always add some acid so that they can start getting a little bit fried as they go. So then you let them go, and now you shoot the buggers down. And I always use an AK-47, nice and quick and brilliant. And they shoot all over the universe. No molecules or anything close to anywhere else. That's it. So what happens then? So we fill the universe with bubbles, and we make it all together. You know, we burst them, top layer. That's our cake finished. Now we're going to destroy that cake. I use something called photons, which are very high-powered energy, and I call it a photon torpedo. If anybody knows the first lot of Star Trek, they used to send off photon torpedoes, and the screen used to sort of go in and out of focus. So that's what I do. And I get rid of it with an energy throw, which is a 10. We've been doing 4 energy throws, which are 4, which was open the door. So this is a 10 that's going to send it all into little bits, never to be seen again. So if you take a nice breath, okay, and on 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 10, yes, you felt that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, your eyes are quite moist. It's as though you're looking. Now, can you tell me, if you look across your universe, what colour can you see now?
Oh, what right now?
Yes.
Bright yellow color.
It's even brighter. It's like really like sunshine.
Yes, yeah. That's
You
wonderful.
are really in. It's almost goldy sunshine. What I'm picking up, what I'm reading here, because the other one's sort of a primrose, very pale yellow when you started, but you've gone bright. So, how did your body feel?
Very warm. My stomach is my stomach is very warm.
Yeah.
When we started, it was only the stomach. Now it's my entire body. And I felt like because my feet are on the floor, but I felt like they weren't.
So we have moved some energy.
Oh, that's very good.
So that is what I do. All of my sessions start off with that. That is like my baby session. Is what I do.
It's still my stomach is still warm.
Yeah, yeah, because it has really shifted something. So what you will need to do now is drink plenty of water.
Yes.
Your body will also possibly crave for some salt and sugar.
Oh.
Because the only thing that our body needs to survive are water, salt, sugar, and energy. Well, we're energy anyway, so you've just given it a tune-up. You've just filled the petrol tank again.
Yeah, that exercise was very good with the bubbles. I like.
Yes. Yeah.
It is very relief. It feels like you relieve something when you press the bubble.
Because my way of doing it, that is how I see it. Because all the rubbish that has come down, that's how you release it. Yeah. A lot of people will take people out on a journey through it like that, but they don't look at where they're going and what's there. I have had this knowing, was told that that's what I needed to do at each stage of the body. It's like we've got 7 energy bodies outside of us. And my view is, out of that, when you've gone through those, it's like you've got the rainbow there. And you take a layer off the rainbow and you take it off. So the next time we do it, it would take out the rubbish that has fallen out after that. Mm-hmm. So that's how I do things, and that's why people like it, because I'm not serious with it. As I say, I'm not. All I do, yes, I've trained in something, but this is my knowing of how I unblock people, quite successfully too.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, yeah. That was so good.
Yeah, so that's what I do. So what I've done is what I call my mini session. That's where I take people to there, and then if they go further sessions, we go further into their body, find out what's blocking them, what things have been, different things. You can have people that have been abused, but not just in this lifetime. Yeah. And people that brought down ancestral stuff, it can be a nightmare. Yeah. And a lot of religious things, which are, somebody I worked with, another businessman very early on, it was because he was brought up a strict Catholic, and all the doctrines that even now he 30 odd years later, his body, even though he'd given up religion, he was still held back by that. And when he said God, he said, I feel so different. Yeah, that testimonials on my website, just didn't know what I did, but that's it. So that's what I do. I just make people feel different. Thank you for demonstrating. Yes, I thought you'd enjoy that. Yeah, I did. I like things like that. I like to explore something that I haven't explored before. Yes, that's lovely. So thank you so much for having me. Oh no, thank you for agreeing. I would ask you to send me your website or Facebook page. Yes, whatever information you want, and I will put this information under the video when I upload it. Yes, okay, so I'll stop the recording now. Yes.